It's active. Hello everyone, and don't mind my shaky cam. It's time for another movie vlog. Today, the usual crew, I'll try to get this out of the sun, there we go. We have all gone off to see Captain America Civil War. Behind me over here, you'll see Mikey. That is Captain America. And over here is Phauxe as usual.
How's it going?
And so, I guess first things first, for people who don't want spoilers that for some reason haven't seen it yet, and even we're a bit late at seeing it.
Yeah.
I thought this fucking movie was amazing. How about you, Mikey?
It was good. I give it an 8 out of 10.
I give the Sun a 1 out of 5, though.
Yeah,
God damn.
Well, hopefully it'll be like stop changing position pretty soon here, so.
And your opinions?
I loved it. It was really well done.
That's Sun, though.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do our best with the constant movement that we'll be having. That's spoilers free. Everybody liked it.
Yeah.
So going into spoilers. Off the bat, Spider-Man.
Oh, thank you for Spider-Man. I was nervous, but it turned out well. I was very pleased, so. Yeah, it was just.
It was great, thanks.
Yeah. I was nervous, like, okay, yet another Spider-Man reboot. How can you kind of screw this one up? But they did it well so far, so I am hopeful that, you know, this one will stick for a while.
At least a little while, yeah. Yeah, especially after the Amazing Spider-Man reboot. It was called Amazing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't earn that title, to be honest, because the only thing that they got right for Amazing Spider-Man, the actual line of Amazing Spider-Man, is the fact that he uses cartridges for his webbing, which, again, they're doing again, so be happy with that, guys.
Yep.
So what do you think about Spider-Man?
It was great. It was kind of worried because of his voice in the trailers and stuff, but it actually fits.
Yeah.
Age.
Yeah, he was meant to be a high school student, so it really does fit. I don't know why people are having such a fit.
Yeah, I actually like that aspect about it. I mean,
I always figured I always knew he was like a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took them until, what, the 90s before he became old enough to be in college?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it took long enough.
Yeah, it's the youngest Spider-Man we've seen. So. Like,
yeah. So definitely very good Spider-Man. How about the motivations? That's another thing that keeps kind of coming up a bit, is the motivations. What do you guys think?
That was one of the things I was nervous about going in. Like, there's a lot of characters and a lot going on. So, like, Age of Ultron kind of felt like a clusterfuck at times, or it's too much and not focused enough. But as far as like having a coherent plot to making sure all the characters had a reason to be there and kind of fitting them in, I thought it was well done. I liked it. So, yeah, I don't have any complaints in that regard.
Works for me, works for Phauxe. How about you, Mikey? Yeah, I really can't argue. Especially the later half, with reasons why they're fighting, got real fucking dark real fast. I mean, that just raised the ante up to several levels. Again, the people who don't want spoilers, it turns out that Winter Soldier killed Tony Stark's parents.
Yep.
While he was being brainwashed and trained to be the Winter Soldier, so that's a thing that apparently Captain knew about and was trying to keep secret. Oops.
Yep.
After Tony finds out, he completely goes bananas and will just beat the fuck out of anybody because fuck you, he killed my parents.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's gonna bring them back or not, I want vengeance.
Yep.
Which then also brings us to our villain for this one, which is Zemo. So, actually, I know you guys don't know anything about Zemo, I would assume.
That's correct, yeah.
So you don't either. Okay, so first and foremost, this isn't meant to be the first Zemo. Baron Zemo, as he is popularly known, was a man that ran around in a very royal blue costume with a purplish face mask and actually had like a baron's crown on his head. And he was popularly known as the man who killed the original Bucky. So they all assumed that Bucky was dead, which also then further links to why Zemo would do this kind of shit just to trigger Bucky. Whether or not he's the original Zemo.
Oh, yeah.
So that was essentially Baron Zemo's big thing. So how'd you guys like his interpretation here?
It was, like, not really knowing about the character or anything going into it, it was... yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Like, Mikey?
Yeah,
You really tell him the side he was on initially, because it's like... Well, I know he was a bad guy, but I mean... They didn't really say much about where he came from at first.
Yeah, they do explain a little bit that apparently his family was there during Age of Ultron.
I think so, yeah.
Apparently got crushed by the accidental explosions and so forth that went off. So
Basically,
Yeah.
a guy that's sought out revenge and thinks about the characters.
Well, I do like the fact that, if nothing else, they at least kept the fact that Zemo himself was actually a really smart, almost bastardly smart kind of guy. So they at least kept some element of him around. He was by no means like a big brute force guy. He was a mastermind. That was his big shtick.
Yeah, he was clever. Very clever.
Clever. Clever. For those of you who don't get that joke, it's a Doctor Who in joke. When the Daleks did something extremely stupid during Classic Who, they repeated the word clever during one of their stories. Just proving how clever they really aren't. This was like, I think, first or second Doctor, too, I might have had, so this was a long time ago, like 1960s.
Nothing like a pat on the back.
Clever, clever. There's logic in what he says. Mikey gets that one. That's 1980s Cyberman agreeing with something that's completely outlandish and stupid. So Zemo covered a bit. I guess we should throw in a few of the little surprises. How did you like Ant-Man in this one?
Oh, I love Ant-Man in this. Yeah, so Ant-Man is one of those I really didn't know anything about. Ended up watching the movie after it was recommended to me and enjoyed it quite a bit. And yeah, since we're doing spoilers, I wasn't expecting him to like grow at all. that was new to me. So,
Mikey?
He was fantastic. It's like, orgasm at everybody.
Yeah, he was almost as bad as Parker was.
yeah.
Because, yeah, when we first see Spider-Man, he's just kind of like, oh, hi, Captain America.
Yeah.
I'm Spider-Man. And Tony's just like, yeah. Bring it down to about 5.
Funny because Ant-Man was more older.
Yeah, it was funnier for Ant-Man because he's older. He's like, for the audience, it's not like being a older fanboy just suddenly going, oh my god, I get to meet you, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially the big thing with the fight, I hinted at the fact that he can do that to these guys before we went over there. I didn't actually know they were going to do that.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, my knee jerked and went, oh my god, I'm watching a modern version of War of the Gargantuas, only it's one giant Gargantua versus several little ones. It's freaking amazing. It's fantastic. I absolutely loved every moment just watching him rip an airport apart and slam people with parts of it.
Oh, yeah.
He hit them with trucks, with airplane wings, stomping on people, swatting at people. He did every variation of how you can take something as a giant and just beat the living daylights off someone at an airport.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the first thing he does is grab War Machine out of the sky and tugs him back. And then flings him. Oh, and also he has these little devices that allow things to grow or shrink.
Oh, yeah, the truck, you're right.
And he does that truck number, and I think he gave he threw the truck, and then he gave the little disc to Captain America.
Yep.
And so then, yeah, the whole big explosion, he's just like, oh, shoot, sorry, I thought that was a water truck. My bad. As this huge, like, oil tanker just explodes.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. So, yeah, the fighting was really good, speaking of which.
Yeah, the action scenes were solid. Yeah, I don't literally.
Yeah.
They're awesome and great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a little bit shaky at first, but yeah, definitely like after the initial first one or two, it definitely cleared up a bit.
Well, like the first one was like all the driving and stuff in there. He dashed around with cars and stuff.
True, there's a lot of jerky things going on. And I don't completely blame the directors for that.
Circumstances, what they did.
Yeah, it's more of what they had to do in order to keep up.
Right.
But yeah, then it's moved up very much so by the time you wanted to actually get to feel the spectacle, which was the big fights.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, also I love the speaking of other characters that are new to this, Black Panther.
Oh yeah. It's another one I wasn't expecting, but
Well, he's been in every advertisement, so I knew he was coming.
okay. Well, I am.
I don't remember anything of his past.
I think they mentioned Wakanda that he's now king of. They actually show his father before he dies.
Before this point.
Yeah.
He's the Prince of Wakanda before this point. They're part of a African country that's actually the most developed country in the world. Partially, but not entirely, due to the fact that they have like I forget what the iron metal is called that Captain America's shield's made out of. Vibranium.
Yeah, something like
or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember right now. I'm totally spacing on it, and I should know better. But essentially, their country has like a shitload of it, and because they're like the only good source of it, they make a lot of money off of it. They've then taken all that money from their government, selling this metal to certain people that they trust, and then use it to actually develop their country into a better place. So is logically the most superior country in the entirety of the world, but they're also extremely seclusive. Like, barely anyone ever comes in or out unless you are essentially one of the few people that they know they can trust, and then they will let you in if they feel like it, essentially. Which, by the way, and spoiler alert again, the ending, we get to actually see the place a little bit. And that kind of tells me that Black Panther now fully trusts Captain America, Bucky, and Hawk.
Yep.
Which is a huge boon for them at this point.
Yeah, they need kind of like all the help they can get.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of see that. Yeah, but that's how he probably gets his shield back.
I bet you that's how he gets in the new version of the shield back. Yep, because he also left his shield with Iron Man.
Yeah.
You're saying something, Mikey? Go.
Well, it's because the government and all that would decide we need to control these guys better.
Yeah, and that's actually how the original Civil War started off, was that the government decided that all these heroes had to register and they could only use their powers when they decide to. But here's like the big problem, and this is why I kind of liked Spider-Man in the original Civil War better. Now, mind you, in this Civil War, Spider-Man's just a little teenager kid, and he's not that involved just yet.
Right.
In the original version of Civil War, which was taking place in what was essentially late 2000s in the comic books at the time, Peter Parker was for sure already a high school science teacher, and I don't think he'd actually been possessed by Dr. Octopus and became a super scientist or anything yet. By the way, nowadays in the Marvel Universe, Peter is as powerful and as money inclined as Tony Stark now.
Really?
Oh yeah, he has one of his greatest enemies, Dr. Octopus, to thank for that.
Oh.
Because he temporarily took over his body, made him divulge all of his time and efforts into all this crazy super science, managed to build up an entire lab and factory for himself, and then Peter got his body back and all this other stuff that he was now suddenly aware of, and he's just like, oh, awesome! And I continue to fight crime again. Ta-da!
That's a nice parting gift.
Funny how the tides turn on certain villains, right? But the main thing that Spider-Man did during Civil War was he became the poster boy of why this is wrong. And what he did was he literally went in front of every major news service in all of New York and went, You want to know why this is wrong? Do you know why you don't want all of the superheroes' identities pinned down and to tell them to not defend themselves when they need to? Here, let me show you, and removes his mask.
Oh, wow.
And literally in front of everybody. Even his old boss, Jonah Jameson, was there, and he's just watching dumbfounded. The man that gave him such a hard time for his quote-unquote crappy pictures of Spider-Man, even though he was the only decent photographer of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
And essentially what happened immediately afterwards is that most of his major villains signed up with the government registry and then went about trying to attack Peter Parker. Because legally, having signed up, they were allowed to do this. Because they were trying to force him to sign up, quote-unquote.
Oh, right.
So they were attacking Peter and his family the entire time. Until he managed to get Mary Jane and Aunt May off to somewhere safe, and then joined the splintered alliance of the Avengers, which was headed up by Doctor Strange, of all people.
Huh.
And Doctor Strange decided that their new headquarters was going to be in the basement of a Starbucks. That's under construction.
All right.
But yeah, obviously this is very loosely based. What we wanted to focus on, obviously, is the characters that have been already established.
Sure.
And for switching it over from kind of everyone being their own main thing to making Captain America the idea guy for what should probably pass and what shouldn't, and this being a very obvious bad idea if you're going to actually tie the hands of the people defending you, is a really, really stupid idea.
Yeah, and well, making like Captain America kind of be that voice that says, you know, like his whole shtick is, you know, if I see something like somebody doing something wrong, I'm going to stop them. I'm not going to wait for like a decree to come up and, you know, file all my paperwork to make sure I can do something. I'm just going to go out and do it. But I felt like he was like the perfect spokesman for that point, though, because that's been his whole shtick through the entire movie series so far. Like,
since World War II.
Yeah, he's consistent. His character fits it perfect. So,
and that's also the thing I like about this. Any other comments first, though, from you, Mikey? Mikey's our quiet guy. It's nothing too major about that. I like the way they've been rewriting Captain America for this. A lot of people would look at Captain America the same way they would look at somebody like, say, Superman. Oh, look at him, Mr. Perfect Teeth, Mr. Blonde Hair, Blue Eyes, has no problems in his life. Oh, what do you got to complain about, Captain America? Oh, I'm super strong and super fast, and I can bounce the shield off of any angle and have it retrieve back to me like a boomerang that didn't even hit anything. Oh, you have such a hard life. They actually do bring some genuine gravitas to a character who could otherwise just be a really annoying Boy Scout.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing. Like I liked about it. It's like they didn't really make him feel like just, you know, the good old Boy Scout. And like, you know.
Oh look, it's the lawful good Paladin. Oh my fucking God! Can we just kill him now?
Yeah.
He's actually a genuinely decent guy, and when he sees something wrong that's generally wrong, he will actually go about it the way he knows best.
Yeah, it just makes him seem like good-natured without like making you feel bad for not being as good-natured as him.
Yeah,
so.
don't not over preaching the choir.
Right, exactly. So.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's like we were saying. He's a man, not just symbolizing America. He's had it better in my head.
Essentially, what you're saying is that unlike Superman, who is essentially a symbol of everything good that we can be, he is essentially a flawed man who can do the best he can.
He's a flawed man.
And that's kind of generally my opinion on Marvel to begin with, and why I'm the bigger fan of Marvel than I am DC. By the way, how do you like the new shirt? I saved it especially for today. It had only gone through the wash once. But I think we've kind of covered most of our bases. Anything else you guys wanted to bring up?
Not that I can think of. I think, I don't have anything else to add.
So I think that's about it. Any other final thoughts?
Can't wait till Spider-Man comes out.
Oh yeah, we're totally watching that together again.
Yeah. All I can say is if you haven't seen this yet, see it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, my recommendation is we'll see it
as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Alrighty, see you all next time.